to see how it works for you both to decide the topic to discuss. Okay. So this is not a class. You're not gonna see any grammar or vocabulary in here. I'm not as a teacher also. So this is a conversation, 100% conversation in English. And the goal in here is to develop our fluency, our speaking and listening skills, and also other skills related to communication. On Talk and Talk, we have the planner where you can find the topic and the questions to prepare yourself. It's open for the annual subscribers. And for this session, I didn't prepare the topic and the questions because I want to test something new that you are going to decide the topic, and we can have a conversation about that. Okay. So we always start with presentations, personal presentations. So Chris and Julia, you're going to present yourselves. And on this presentation, I want you to share what are the things that you would like to discuss in English for this session. Okay. So present yourself and then bring something that, an idea or something that you would like to talk about. Let me start with Julia. Julia, can you present yourself and bring something you want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. So, hi guys, a pleasure to be in other conversation. My name is Julia. I am 19 years old. I live in São Paulo. To be more specific, I live in one city called Osasco. I don't know if you guys know about the city. I am a person who like to do a lot of things. For example, I like to dance. I like to reading. Pass my free time with my family and with my cats. I have a three. And I started learning English in 2021. I started learning alone. Before that, I started to do one course, but I just doing 1 years because I just learning things about grammar is like a class of I have in my school. For this reason, I get out my course and now I am here in Talking Talk to try improve my English every single day. So that's it. And we talked about the topic. I think it is interesting if your guys talked about international travel or international experience, like how we can use your English to has international experience. I think is nice because if you discuss about this, we can get out of this conversation, understand more about how uh, we can use your English to has international to go to international programs. I think this can be good if you do that.
Yes, that's a good topic. Thanks for sharing that. And I want to hear from Chris. What do you think, Chris? Uh, present yourself and think about something else, or what do you think about Julia's suggestion?
Well, I really like the Julia's suggestions, but I'm gonna start with my presentation. So, hello guys, it's a pleasure of being here with you this afternoon here in Brazil. For those who don't know me, my name is Christian Jimenez. I am from Bolivia. However, I currently live in Curitiba, Paraná, Brazil. I got relocated to Brazil 2 years ago by a Brazilian company. That's why I'm living here right now. I work as a full stack software developer and I work remotely from here. The office of my company is in Sao Paulo. So the last year I was living in Sao Paulo, Ortolândia, but now I am living in Curitiba. I'm 36 years old, and in my leisure time, I really enjoy playing football, playing volleyball with my wife. As well, nowadays I really like learning new languages. In the past, I was really bad in learning languages. I think I was the worst student in my English class. but nowadays I really enjoy learning English, improving my English, and nowadays I am trying to learn French on my own. Um, and about this topic, I was thinking about something related that Julia mentioned it. Maybe for me, it's really nice. It's always nice to talk about immigration because I am an immigrant here in Brazil, and I think that Philip now is living in Canada. So it's something we could exchange some experiences that we have faced so far because immigration is something big. It's not like a small deal. So that was the topic that I was thinking about for today's conversation.
Yes. So how would you, Julia, how would you define the topic, the name of this topic, like in a sentence or short sentence?
So I don't think about it. I think it can be international experience or how you can have one international experience, something like that. I think it can be used. I don't know.
So I'm gonna post it as international experiences. And I have the very first question for you, Julia. Um, have you been abroad already, or would you like to go to another place, to another country, for work, for study, or for living? What are the options you have, or the experience you have abroad?
So yes, I starting learning English for this reason to be real. English to me is good for yourself. Like it's nice to study about other language because I feeling I'm a other person who I start to really know about other language. But my inspiration to learn English and my goal is doing international programs. To me this is like so important, and then when I talk to the people who want to study English is for this reason. I think it's so common that people want to know English about that. I have one experience, international experience. In these years I do my first international travel. I go to Boston to participating to one program who called me Harvard Model UN. Is debate about a lot of topics, and they go to the programs. I pass 7 days in USA, and I'm back now. And now I want to has other international experience. My goals now is doing graduation in other country. Now I thinking a lot of about doing graduation in university in Italy because I like to financial who Italy doing to international students. I think this is so good. And in Italy, we can doing graduation in Italy language and in English. And to me is important because I want to do my graduation in other language because I think it is so important to understand more things about the language, and it has more experience in jobs. I think it's great when they will know about English. But I feeling I need to improve my English every single day because I feeling I have one informal English, but I need to have one English more academic. And now I am focused to do that. But my inspiration to learn English is for this reason. For this reason, I chose this topic is because I think is nice when you talk about that because I feeling a lot of people has currents to understand how you can use your English to has an international experience. So that's it.
Very good, Julia. Very good. I would also like to invite you to join our fluency speed program where we have host students, writer student, and mentor students developing their fluency, communication, creativity, leadership, emotional intelligence, and doing a lot of networking between them. All those skills are developed on this Fluency Speed program where Christian Jimenez has just joined. And the goal is to have 1 or 2 hours per week to commit yourself, to bring a topic, and to be like a host as I'm doing here. I just wanna, I guess it would be really good for you, especially about what you're talking about. You can just go to those website. I'm just sending on the chat. And after you submit the form, I'm gonna reach out to you to talk about the next steps, how it works. I know you are an annual subscription, so you don't need to pay any more anything else about this speed program. You just need to be accepted to this subscription you're gonna make if you're interested to. And after your annual subscription expires, you just pay as a annual fee that it's much less than you paid for the annual subscription. Okay, and you're gonna understand all. I'm gonna do an interview with you, and you're gonna see the benefits and how the program works. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I will see more things about it before.
Very, very good, very good. Christian, and what about you? Have you ever had, I know you are not Brazilian, so how's it been, the experience abroad? Have you been in other countries as well? And about what Julia was saying about language and dreams and everything. What are the thoughts you have on this matter?
So, in my personal experience, I think that moving to another country for working or for living, it's always difficult, even though you already know the language. It's always difficult because you are leaving your place, you are leaving your family, your friends, everything that you have built in the past. You left all of this in one country. Uh, I think that we have faced a lot of challenges here as immigrants with my wife. The first more difficult thing for us was the language. In my case, not that much because I already had a lot of immersion with Portuguese. I had the opportunity to come here to Brazil in 2013 for a conference, and I stayed here in Brazil for 3 months in Brasilia. So that's why I could develop my or improve my Portuguese. But even though I already knew a little bit of Portuguese, it was so difficult because the real Portuguese, when you are talking, I thought that I already had a good Portuguese level at that time, but I realized that not, because I just was able to understand all of the people was speaking. But when I tried to speak in Portuguese, that was so difficult. Nowadays, I don't have that problem anymore, but at the beginning it was so difficult. As well, I think that, as I already said, I already had built my a career in Bolivia. And when I came here, I started like from scratch because nobody knows me. Nobody knows about who was Christian Jimenez or what Christian Jimenez was able to do in his job. So I had to start over here. I had to kind of gain my position here. And I have been scaling, and nowadays I recently got promoted. I am currently working as a tech lead. So I feel really well because I think that I could overcome this transition because it was a long transition. I am trying to create my career again here. And well, we both, my wife and I, we have plans for moving to another country. We would like to have the opportunity to live in out of South America. and I think that the process will be kind of the same. Even I think even more difficult because I consider that English is more difficult than Portuguese, or at least for me. But I feel that I'm more prepared right now because that's why I'm here. I'm trying to improve my English to not have that in order to not have that kind of problem that when I got here to Brazil. Um, and that's it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and both of you explained in a very good way. I believe like a lot of people they dream about going abroad, but as Christian mentioned, it's not easy, especially you're living the place you were born, the people you know that you trust. Like you need to build from scratch. It's not easy to trust people. Even in my hometown, I do not have many people to trust. Even I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends, but not all the friends I trust my heart, you know? So it's complicated when you move abroad and you have a different lifestyle, you have a different routine, different weather, different language, different way of thinking, different places, food, even like the currency itself, and you know, uh, the economy, the prices, the supermarket. Here in Toronto, you go to like supermarket, there are a lot of things that are common as in São Paulo, but there is the other supermarkets that they are Asian supermarkets. So it's crazy going there, and like I have no idea what is the food they have in there. So it's completely different. So I picture myself like going to China, going to, I don't know, Japan, any Asia country, culture, India, Vietnam, or places like that, or Saudi Arabia, or Africa, or Russia, So that's that's going to be really tough. And when I see a lot of people on LinkedIn, oh, I want to work abroad. And okay, you want to work abroad, I get it, you can do that, but it's not just like, oh, you're gonna, because people, they are focused just on the payment they are gonna get in another currency. And it's perfect, it's nice, it's awesome. But at the same time, you need to care about taxes. You need to care about bank account. You need to care about fees. You need to care about any other bureaucracy, and also the cost of living, the place you're going, and if it's not a scam as well. Especially when you're in another country, it's easier to get involved in scams. And I hope nobody gets to that, but yeah, we see a lot of people talking about that. Oh, especially when you're moving to another country, you need a house, and you don't know the place, and sometimes you need to pay before you arrive, and then the place doesn't exist. So, Julia, my question is, what do you think would be your most difficult challenges you would face living abroad?
I'm sorry, I don't understand why you say abroad.
Abroad, in another country, abroad.
My
Yeah.
difficult challenge. I think it is my first international travel, and I goes alone. In the first, I do this in my first time. I always travel with my parents, and this is so difficult to stay a long time without your parents. I miss my parents every single day. It is so difficult because the culture is different, the people is different, and sometimes I just wanna go to my house, talk with my parents, and the I think I don't have a lot of problems with English. Of course, sometimes I don't understand a lot of things, and it's difficult to live in other country when you don't speak your native language. Uh, but it's not. difficult because I have one level of English when I can understand a lot of things, but I think it is difficult. You just stay alone, do a lot of things alone, like he goes to shop one things, and the leading with people who are born in other country, you have other culture, and sometimes I just think, oh my god, if I talk this in Brazil it's a common, but here I don't know. Like you live it with a fear to do something wrong to other people, sometimes to talking one thing in Brazil is common, but in USA is not. And it's difficult to me because you need to lead it with a lot of people, and in hotel with I passed in the 7 days has people who are a lot of parts in the world, like meeting people from Peru, from China, uh from Italy, and it's difficult because you need to think, oh my god, how I can uh, talk with people. My English is good. Sometimes you have a fear, but it's a good experience to go to other country. Has meeting people who has different perspective of the world. This is so great.
Yeah, this exchange of experiences, ideas, you build or you develop more empathy. I don't know if Christian has ever thought about, but when you move to another country, do you realize that people think different than you, and it's another world? It's like it feels like another world, right? How does it feel for you, like this different experiences with other people?
So, in my personal experience, it's kind of, for example, the first 3 months were kind of nice. You are excited because you're living kind of your dream, but then you really realize that you are not more in you are not in your country and you are living in another place, and that's the time when you say, okay, what did I do? I want to come back to my country. I have to stay here. Now I'm living here, so I had to just continue, right? Moving on. But yeah, I think that you develop as an immigrant, develop a lot of new skills like empathy. You appreciate, or yeah, you appreciate more the things that you had in your country, your family. I think that I got more attached with my family now that I'm living here because I miss them so much. Nowadays, I have a meeting with them every Friday night just to know how they are. Um, yeah, that's my opinion. I think that you start appreciating more the things that you had, even though your country is not that good. Maybe Bolivia is not a good. I don't consider Bolivia like that country, right? I think that Bolivia has a lot of problems, political, economical, cultural problems like any other country, but in even though Bolivia is like that, I miss my country a lot of time. But I am here because I want to grow as a person. I want to grow professionally as well, and that's why you just have to put that priorities in front, the things that you love, and you have to live in your own country.
Yeah, and people they do not move because they want to, just like I want to move. They move most of the times because they want to develop more about themselves, right? Otherwise, they would be in the same place and develop themselves at their city or things like that. Um, yeah, I think for my situation, for example, it's quite weird because both experience, international experience I had, the first one to 2011 in Chicago, United States, I stayed there for 7 months. And for the entire time, I knew that I was going back to Brazil. Now in Toronto, I'm gonna spend almost a year in Canada, and I know I'm going back to Brazil as well. So I think that that's what you mentioned before. Oh, you move to another country in the first 3 months, they are perfect, you know? So yeah, I have this thing. When I moved to Chicago, I was like the first 3 months, everything is new, everything is nice. And here it happened the same. The first 3 months, it was like that. And after the 3 month period, you feel like, oh my God, I want to go back to my country. I want to go back to sun and summer and barbecue and family, friends. But if I had no option to go back, maybe I would face it differently, you know. If I was really moving to Canada, I guess I would move, or I would, yeah, see things differently. Um, Julia, what do you think about the experience culture shock you might face? What do you expect, like, about this shock of culture when you move to another place to have this international experience?
So I think I don't pass a lot of time on the country to uh, see these things because I pass a lot of times with Brazilian people, and for this reason, I don't real meeting people to other country, but have one time I have a one experience who I stay. Oh my God, what I doing? Um, I do to USA to make it a part for to one programs and have one part where I need to talk about what about one direction of these programs, and he stay uses this computing, and I stay looking of the his screen, and she just look at me and you see like he angry, and he said to me, you can please don't see my screen when I using my computing, and I just say, oh my God, I do this in Brazil, and no one's talking with me, oh you can do that, because we stay doing looking one things about myself, because it's about education things about my one activity when I said to him a mail, and they just staying looking at the screen, computer screen, and I do this with my friends, with other people, and no one talk with me, oh don't look my screen, don't look with my computer, I'm using this computer is mine, it's not yours, you can do that. And they just say, oh my God, this is difficult, this is strange. And the other things to me is difficult, I feeling American people is um not I don't know how say this specifically things in English, but American people is more frios. I don't know how say how
Code, code.
cold. In Brazil, I think Brazilian is more talking with a lot of people, making friendship um quickly, and in America is different. Sometimes they don't looking when you talking a lot, or you try to making friendship, but in Brazil it's more easy, and they for this reason when I will to talk about one people who is America, I just say, oh my God, uh what I need to do, because you has a lot of things you do here in Brazil, and then when you go to other countries, sometimes one thing here in Brazil is so common, in other countries not common. The people just stay looking at you and the talking. You can do that. This is strange, and you think, oh my God, but this is normal, and this is strange how this situation uh, happens.
Yeah, and yeah, that's interesting. Have you had anything like that, Christian, when you arrived in Brazil?
Well, I think I already had some experiences, good and bad. Maybe the good ones are that I really consider Brazilians as a friendly people, warmer people, even more than Bolivians. It's kind of easy to make friends here in Brazil. For instance, when I got to Brazil, I had a colleague who I never met before, just online because we were working together. And before I got Brazil, I knew that he already had a car that he was not using in the city that I had to arrive. And I just asked him if he could rent the car for me because I didn't want to take an Uber or InDrive because at that time I didn't know how to use that in Bolivia. We didn't have that application in Bolivia at that time. And he told me, he said, no, take my car. You can drive it without problems. You don't need to pay anything. And I got shocked because he was so friendly with me, even though he didn't know me so well. But he said, no, okay, go ahead. There is my it's my car. You can use it the time that you need it until you get your own car. I got so shocked because that behavior that behavior that he had with me, right? Another thing, well, in general, I think that the good ones and the bad ones, for example, I had an experience that we already rented our apartment with my wife, and we were about sleeping, and suddenly we heard that a lot of people were screaming, were yelling out in the condo, and we got scared because of that yelling, right? And I went out to see what was happening, and it was about just a football match. And all of the condo
Yeah.
was yelling because I think it was the final of the Brazilian Championship here, and all of people were crazy yelling, and we were scared. But then they told us that it was kind of normal here in Brazil, and that's
Yeah.
that's a fun experience.
Yeah, the soccer games, it people go crazy, especially when you live in a condo, lots of apartments. It's crazy. People start screaming. Uh, Yeah, and also about politics, sometimes people just do a lot of they make some noise. And yeah. Was it difficult to make new friends in here, Chris, when you arrived?
Well, in Sao Paulo, I think that not. I already had some group of people who we met. We have reunions every week, at least every week. In fact, we used to practice English in that group. It's a group of my church, so we studied the Bible in English. So that was the way that I was trying to improve my
Nice.
English at that times. And we created a circle of people, of friends, easily. But I think that here in Curitiba, in Paraná, it's a little bit more difficult. Even Brazilian in general said that people who live in the south of Brazil, they are kind of not that open like the other part of Brazil. They are a little bit more cold, like the weather of Paraná.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I see that happening a lot here in Canada. Like if you go out on the streets, especially in Toronto where we are living, if you s- I love dogs. I really love dogs. And when I see a puppy out there like walking on the street, I just start, make that noises like talking to dogs like as a child, you know, like a crazy person. And then people here they don't like at all. They just like rush and just pass quickly over me. But like in Brazil and São Paulo, everywhere you go, see a dog and start like trying to play or trying to, do something that the owner just like replies back, and yeah, it's cool. Julia, do you think you are a person who is easily to find new friends, to meet new people, or do you think that's gonna be a challenge when you travel or move abroad?
So, is an interesting question to be real. Uh, how I say, in my case, I pass a lot of time with Brazilian people, but I'm meeting people to other country. To me, it's more easy to make a friendship with people who has a similar culture with your. Like I talk with Latino peoples because Latino is like Brazil because we is Latino too, and we has a different perspective of the world, a different culture, but we are so similar. And they talk a lot of things to people from Peru, from Bolivia, Venezuela, and it's more easy because these people understand Brazilian and we understand these people. And when I talked about to people like Italy, Europe in general, or Americas, is more difficult because these people is more cold and they don't understand Brazilian. And the I do friendship with one girl from Angola. To me, it's so easy to do a friendship who other country who speak Portuguese too, like
Yeah.
people from Portugal, Angola, and these countries. I think it's difficult because we talk the same language, and it is easy to understand the others because, of course, we have different culture and the ways. But when you talk the same language, is easy to make friendship. But I think it's difficult do a friendship with Americans. For me, is most difficult people to talk about because how I said is Americans is so cold and the maybe how I will talking about is not a good commenter is so negative, but I make it a part with one education programs and sometimes I feel that America uh feeling like the USA the best country in the world, the American people is the best people in the world. Sometimes I feel things like that. Like I think if for you be people to other countries, sometimes the America don't like you just for this reason. And
Yeah.
the I have one experience in uh airplanes we you need to talk about one American people and the have people is just so cold with you like don't like it if you're talking English wrong, don't like this, don't like it if you don't understand the things quickly. I think
Yeah.
he is not great because I think American people feeling like America's the best, American people is the best, and I don't like this to be real. I have problem to have friendship with American people for
Because
this
of that.
reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I know what you're saying because yeah, I guess that's how they really feel, like they are the best and anybody else is the worst, so they don't care, they don't yeah. The memes we watch on social media about geography, they don't even know that America it's like a country. So they are from North America and it's United States of America, you know. So and that's I realized recently they say America because it's the United States of America, you know. So it feels like the name of the country is America, but for the rest of the world it's USA, right? Yeah, because we are also Americans. Yeah, Brazilians are also Americans. Bolivians are also Americans, right? But South Americans, and then they are North Americans. Um, Chris, have you ever had any bad experience in Brazil, like there in Curitiba or even in São Paulo, about being from another country being like any xenophobic situation or something similar?
Let me remember. Uh, yeah, I think so. When we got Brazil, I was trying to rent an apartment because it was my first priority. I was living in my brother's house. Meanwhile, we were trying to find an apartment. And yeah, I felt that they were kind of analyzing more strictly my case than they analyze other people. I don't know how to say immobiliaria in English, but the
The real
immobiliaria,
estate,
sorry,
the real estate.
real estate.
Yeah, I
Okay,
guess.
the real estate was analyzing strictly my case just because I was from another country. Maybe they thought I was not able to pay, that I was not able to, yeah, to pay in the right day, or maybe I was not able to prove that I had my a salary, I don't know. So yeah, they were sometimes that some immobiliarias asked me to have caution. Caution is
Yeah, the
an
deposit check.
caution, I think, right, in English. I'm
Yeah, it's I would say like a deposit check.
okay.
Deposit
So they asked me a deposit to check uh
security deposit.
security deposit that was more than the others. They normally there were kind of three or four values of the renting, but they asked me for kind of eight until 10. So
Yeah,
I felt that it was just because I was
not fair.
Bolivian. Mhm.
Yeah,
It
not
was not
fair.
fair, but I knew that it was because I was Bolivian from
Yeah,
another
they don't
country.
say that, but that's how you,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and we know that how it works, right?
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's crazy. I had just one specific situation here in Toronto because I was like in a meeting with and talking in Portuguese in a public library. Though when we talk about public library, people think, oh, you need to be quiet. But public libraries, they are so common around Toronto. I'm sorry about yawning. Public libraries are common and they have places that people can answer calls or having meetings and etc. And I was there like having a meeting speaking Portuguese and a guy just stood up and started yelling to me like, "Oh, you're uh you're talking and you're talking another language and this and that and like go back to your country, do the meetings there." And I said, "Okay, so sorry. That's why I'm here to, to live this experience that you're giving me." So it's crazy. Um, well, just before we finish, we have more than 10 minutes. I'm gonna ask Julia, what advice, Julia, would you give someone or even yourself who is planning your first international trip or first ex international experience? What advice would you give yourself or someone?
So I think it's not easy to plan in one international ship. For this reason, you need to think a lot of things. I need to talk about one thing. Sometimes I don't see the people talking about this because we live in one word. We look at a lot of things in social media, and sometimes we just share the positive part of this is not negative. And the one thing we need to import to talk about is your mental health. You need to take care about this because sometimes when you're planning one international ship or like get out of your country and start living other country, sometimes you just think, oh my god, I go to USA by iPhone, live in a beautiful place, and sometimes it's difficult. You is a challenge to you, like living with people you don't understand you. It's difficult to stay a long time long of your family, and for this reason
Yeah.
you need to take care of yourself. In the don't looking this like just the positive uh things about go to other country, because if you do that sometimes you're not a good. So take care, and the putting in your head is not so easy. So planning your financial planning, all things you need to do, because it's not easy to live in other country. It's great, of course, to understand, to meeting other places, to meeting other people, has a lot of good things to this, but have it bad parts. And if you don't has a good preparation, you just can continue living other country. You want you back to your original country. For this reason, take care of yourself before do one international ship, and please planning all things, and the focus in your financial planner, because it's not easy to go to other country, because sometimes don't have a public service to health, and you need to think about other things like travel in other country, looking a lot of things about how the country works. This is so important.
Yeah, very good advice. Like planning, it's really important, and I hope someone listens to you about that, because people sometimes they just see the good things, and it's important to check everything else completely before you make a huge move, right? And Chris, I guess you can bring your experience, like moving from your country to Brazil, from Bolivia to Brazil. So, um, what advice would you give to someone having an international experience for the first time?
So I would say that try to learn more about that country's culture,
Mm.
learn more about the language as well, and I think that you need to analyze if that it's really for you, because when we get influenced by people, for example, influencers in TikTok, Instagram, for them everything is perfect, and they just want people to maybe to pay their services and go to another country. You really have to analyze. You need to creating no creating notes from pros and cons as well. It's important. That's it. I think that is the most important advice that I could give. Because the final, you just have you just will know if that works for you, taking that risk. If you don't try it, you will never know. Even though you analyze, you do all of your part before going there, you just gonna realize that when you are already there. And another thing is, don't create big expectation in some places, because every single country, every single place has its own problems. So don't create that big expectation, because when you get there, you will know that it's not like you were expecting in the past.
It's not an
Um,
Instagram feed.
yeah, the filter is not there anymore,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. People ask me, "Oh, how are you feeling about Toronto? How is Canada? Or even how is Brazil?" Like, I just know one place in Brazil, that is São Paulo, and just a part of it. Toronto, the same. I just live like I'm living here for about 5 months, and I have like I don't have entirely experience in here, but what I've seen is it's not easy as people expect, and everybody puts so much energy on like, oh, the solution of my problems is going to Canada, going to United States, going to Europe. And like it's not like that. It's not definitely like that. And as you said, just check, but take risks. You're gonna be risky because you're moving to another place. And I remember like thinking, I'm a risky person nowadays. It's part of my DNA now. And I remember when I decided to quit my career as an IT professional to start teaching English, I had two or three other plans if something went wrong. So think carefully, going to another country to work abroad, check on the internet, try to avoid scams, talk to people, try to find people living on that place that it's not related to what you're looking for, but can bring some experience. Do not believe 100% on social media, especially people that are selling stuff on Instagram. They just want to sell the subscription or whatever. Do not trust me when I talk about English. Just go over Talk and Talk, YouTube, Instagram, everything else, other students. Ask Christian, ask Julia, ask other students in here how they are feeling about being around Talk and Talk and in the community. So it's pretty much about that. Do not trust people easily. Of course, you don't need to be like 100%, oh, I'm not trusting anyone, but do not trust easily what everybody says, especially because internet. I guess it's a pretty useful suggestion. Julia, do you want to bring anything else before we finish?
So talking about more things about talking. Um, so I think here in Brazil has we always talking. Oh, I know English, but I know to speak. This is so common. Like
Yeah,
I can read in English, I can listen it, but speaking I can do that, and I do that in my whole time when I start to learn English, like hi, I can watch one movie, I can read one book, but I can't speak. And then when I start in talking, I don't understand nothing about speaking English. I just doing conversation, don't understanding nothing. I translate every single word when I go to say. And then now my English, I think my English is so better now because I
much
don't
better.
later in conversation. I understand it. Sometimes I don't understand one word or one question, but it just sometimes. But now I feel my English is so great. I use in talk. I thinking since 2022, and then now we in 2024, and I feel my English improve a lot, and I like the platform for this reason.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And it's being like that. It doesn't matter the time, how it's going to get to fluency, but it's gonna happen. That's how I'm thinking about learning French. So next Monday, I'm going to my second immersion. Yeah, this week. Chris, last Monday, Fernando wasn't able to handle, so I wasn't there, and the other schedule, it doesn't fit to me. So next Monday, I'm gonna be there. So I'm preparing myself to one day, like in some time, I'm gonna reply, or I'm gonna talk back as Julia is saying. Oh, I started translating everything, reading everything. That's how I'm doing, and I'm gonna learn French that way. And Julia, your English, it's really, you speak like you're fluent in English, okay? So you're speaking and answering, and you can talk. So what's next? I'm inviting you to be part of the Fluent Speed program, where you're going to develop more and more your fluency. You're going to be in a position where you're going to take the risk to decide the topic. Um, and you're gonna have a tutor to help you, to guide you through the process, especially in the first 3 months. And maybe in the near future, you can be the tutor for other people. And yeah, it's gonna be great. Please go ahead.
I can do one question about these programs in specifically.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I look at the chat now, to understand more things about the programs, and I see this is has selective process to make the part, and I want to do the process, writing thing in English because I think I can read in English, speak, but writing to me is so
You can
difficult.
do you can do
And
that. You can do that, and we have a writing developing program in this program, because you can either be a host student and or a writer student, where you can develop your writing skills, developing content and articles for our blog on Talk and Talk.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, so just fill out the form. Reach out back to you once you do it. We're gonna have an interview. We are gonna open the subscriptions for the new group of people to apply for the speed fluency program in late May next month already. Oh my God, May is next month. To start in June. And but sometimes I invite people to jump into the program so we can just start it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have any other questions, you can just ask us on the website. There's a chat. You can ask questions in there. And I want to thank you and Chris for being part of this conversation. It was really good. Thank you so much. I hope to see you on Tuesday, 1 p.m. or Friday, 1 p.m. So Tuesday and Friday this time. I'm here. And for Spanish, I'm leading the conversations at 12 p.m. on Wednesday and 6 p.m. Brazilian time. Okay, so thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. And tonight there's happy hour. You're more than welcome to join. It's a good place to meet other people. And usually people speak in Portuguese in there, or you can speak in English and people just follow it. So that's it. Thank you so much and see ya. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.